what age do you remember Christian picking up a basketball?
One.
One. Did you know when he was young that basketball was going to be a sport?
Yes.
Okay.
I was overseas, and I visualized it as it was yesterday. So I was Skyping from across the water. I was in France at the time, and he wasn't 2 yet because I know he turned 2 in Spain. So I called when I was in France. So he was 1 year old. He was shooting a little ball into this inflatable with foam, and he made it like several times while I was talking to mom on the phone. And I'm like, yo, are you seeing this? And she's like, yeah. So I had it on video too, because we can tape the Skype conversation. And so I was like, you know what? He's doing this, but this was what got me, Zach. He's 1 year old. I'm not there because I used to lead a country for like 2-3 months at a time to play, and I used to bring my family as well. But in his case, he was born here. My other children were born actually overseas. So I wasn't there, and he was chasing that ball back and forth. It was crazy. He like kept shooting, and the way he was rebounding that ball, it wasn't just a little kid with a basketball. It was like he was possessed by it. You know what I mean? By rebounding and getting another shot and just running after, and he kept doing it. And that's when I knew, okay, at 1 year old, I told his mom, my wife, I told her, trash all the plastic balls that we have and give him my NBA ball that was on the balcony. And she gave it to him. He never touched another size ball again, except, when they play with the little leagues and they give him smaller balls, but he never practiced ever again with anything outside of a men's basketball. So he made his first field goal on a men's hoop with a men's basketball at 4 years old, and he shot his first three at 6 years old. And he shot his first 100 set at 7 years old. So he shot 100 set and made, I remember when he missed at 14 and at 98. He missed 2 shots at 100. And it wasn't from the free throw line at 7. It was like right there behind the dotted line of the circle. Mm-hmm. So you can see I can chronologically put it together pretty good, because that's all I got it all on tape. I got 4 terabytes worth of tape.
That's awesome. How would you best describe your son as a basketball player? What tangibles make him stand out as a sophomore?
Okay, you threw sophomore in there. Why did you elaborate on that question a little bit more? What you mean?
In the 2024 class, with 2 years left in high school,
right?
He's already getting offers from Michigan. He's already committed. Right. What makes him stand out? What
makes him stand out? He's a phenom. And the problem with phenomenal people, sometimes people don't catch on to it till it's very, very obvious. When you're different, people don't recognize it quickly. Like, and I referred to the Bitcoin before. When you have something that's phenomenally different, like cryptocurrency, like the Bitcoin, when it was offered, it was at $1, and then now 65,000. Everybody want to invest. So and you asked him earlier, why the commitment? You asked the question like in different ways 2-3 times, because I think what you're trying to ask is, why would you commit to a school when you know there's way more coming, because you still got 2.5 years in high school left? And it's hard for him to answer that correctly, because he's a humble kid and he's a standout in his own right. What we do know is I'm 6'6" and he's 5'8". And when he got the offer at 5'6", 5'7", nobody really believed that he should get something like this. Although they know he's been doing this. A lot of people don't know him. A lot of people don't know that he's been averaging 40, 30 points all throughout middle school and elementary school. It's hard for him to answer. I can answer that very precisely. When somebody can recognize the Bitcoin at $1 instead of $65,000 a share, that's the guys I want to deal with. Because I played basketball for a long time. I played professionally. I've been playing with NBA guys. I had NBA workouts. I won championship on every level. Junior college, D1, D2, across the water. I had national coaches, Olympic coaches, all types of stuff. And people don't have that versatility at the grassroots level whatsoever. But I got to deal with those people because we're not in the NBA. He's always trained to be in the NBA, always. That's why his IQ is crazy, his basketball skill is crazy, and he's doing all this at 5'8". So the reverse factor that people don't trust that size thing, because they're doing it backwards. They're not saying, how's he doing this at that size? They're saying, oh no, because of his size. It's almost ridiculous. His shooting skill, people can emulate that without defense, right? So they can't shoot 90% from the three-point line. They can't do it. You will be hard-pressed to find 90% three-point shooters, meaning if I take a college guy and have him shoot 100 college threes, is he going to make 90 with no defense? No. That kid is. He can shoot 90 out of 100 every day of the week. Every day of the week. And he translates that into 50% on the court with double teams and triple teams. Not against Oak Hill and Montverde, I get that. But there's, understand he's 15 years old. He's not a sophomore in the 24 class, reclass, who just celebrated his 16/17th birthday. No, he's 15 years old all the way to next year, April. He's a baby, but he got the heart of a lion. He's amazing. He's defying all odds. And if I play basketball, if I've been a basketball player and I see that, I know what's to come. It's an easy calculation. And Juwan Howard is the only one that made that calculation off of one half. I'm like, that's our guy. Simple. If he's at Michigan, he's at Michigan. If he's at North Carolina, if he's at Timbuktu, we're going to go with the guy that understands before the masses understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You already mentioned Juwan, but what are your thoughts of him in a staff after this relationship has now evolved into something long term? What are your thoughts on him?
On him and his staff, or just him individually?
Both.
Well, again, I think he's he's a 20-year veteran in the NBA. He's a 6 to 7 year veteran as a coach in the NBA. He comes back to his alma mater that he represented. He changed basketball perception in the 90s. Fab Five, played with some very good players, made it to the finals twice, came up short, comes back and decides, I'm gonna put my name back into the mix right here and try to get us that championship that I promised. That's amazing to me. So he's turning down NBA jobs. His sons are there. He's representing a lot of the things that we try to represent. And it's like the perfect fit. Has nothing to do so much as with a college program or what offense he's running. I'm teaching my son how to be a plug and play player. So if you plug and play, how you know who you're going to get drafted by? How you know who you're going to play for in college? You can't keep choosing. You got to be a versatile professional athlete, even if you're just in college or high school. And so that's what he's been doing. So that's why Chris stands out. He's able to do things that's just very high level because he's been preparing for that all his life.
Mm-hmm. What exactly, when you spoke with Juwan for the first time, or as it's went on, what did they tell you as a parent why your son should attend Michigan?
The fun part is, I feel like I'm a parent. I feel like I'm a coach that's trying to play a parent. You know what I mean? I played the game for 10 years myself. I coached at the collegiate level myself, so I signed scholarships. I train and develop young talent in the city, and then I train my own kids. So a lot of pros don't have the patience to train kids. So they didn't sell the school at all, because they didn't have to do all these things with me. because I can do my own research. I can look into the program, but what I care about is who my son is representing. And I want to represent somebody who wants to represent him. And I want to represent, and that's, of course, the amazing tradition of Michigan. That was just like, wow, it's all in one. So that's why it's so easy to commit to that, because they didn't even have to sell us anything. I don't need to see the facilities, because we can have the best facilities in the world, the best program in the world. But if the coach and the player don't match, that's why you got 3,000 transfers in the portal, because nobody cares about the gym or what lacquer they use to make it shiny for mommies and daddies. So we didn't have this parental conversation. Chris is a student athlete. He's an A1 student at a private school, at a very good private school in Atlanta. He gets A's. His little brother gets A's. We always speak on academics, but he's a student athlete, so it goes hand in hand. So he asked about how he was in the classroom. I told him it speaks for itself. But he saw him play. He knew what it was. He just knew it. Like, I'm convinced that Juwan Howard was not walking around looking for a 2024 point guard. I believe that Juwan Howard was walking around and stumbled over Christian Anderson Jr. and wanted to commit to him, because you can't time when you meet your wife. You can't time when you meet a friend. You just meet him. And that's the feeling I had. And that's why it was easy for me to, it was kind of a way of us showing respect back. When somebody does that and put his name out there and put his reputation, all these things we take serious. I don't believe that Juwan Howard just offers kids randomly and reneges later. He doesn't offer anybody unless he's committed on, and that's what that was the whole selling point. And he didn't have to sell it. It was just who he was.
Mhm. That's one for you. What areas do you see Jawan and company developing your son further along as he transitions to the collegiate level?
Well, that's a good. Well, I think that he's going to have his own philosophies. Martelli is there. Martelli came to the game and followed up on Jawan, and came and saw Chris, and he felt like he fits great also. So I leave it up to them to complete him, give him all the know-how that they have. They both have developed NBA talent. And so whatever the message they're giving, I trust them to cultivate in my son what they've been doing all their life. So it's not one specific thing that I expect them to do. I trust them. I think they qualified. I think they have a great reputation. They have the interaction with me and my son and them was crazy. Martelli is an amazing person. Howard Isley, we watched him, you know what I mean? We know what kind of person he is. We saw him as a player. Then you got Sadie Washington out there, who's an amazing recruiter. So they got a phenomenal staff, and we got to meet Tim McCormick out there, who represents the team and present, and it just feels right in every aspect. And I don't expect it to change at all over the next 2.5 years.